Hello, this is Larry from Blue Collar Nation, and we have a special edition episode here, and we have special guests here, Eric, don't we?
We do. We have longtime friends.
Yes, Anissa and Kevin Coy, and they have wonderful information that's going to help many other people in our industry, restoration, cleaning, and other service businesses, to help us weather this storm that we're dealing with. Crisis, I think, is the word we've been using. And how are you guys today?
Great.
Fantastic. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Kevin and Anissa own Firehouse Education, and they are very well known in our industry of water damage, fire, mold remediation, sewage cleanup, all of that, with a specialty in contents. So we have some experts here, and we want to talk about some of the things, especially on that content side of what we're dealing with this whole new world that we're living in. So thank you guys for joining.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for doing this. I think this, what you guys are doing is one of the things that is going to be of huge service to our industry, which of course translates to service in our communities, right? That need us, because as restoration cleaners, we're the people that they need. This is the kind of, we organize chaos and we give people hope in times when they don't know what to do. And so this is what we've been training for. So thank you guys for doing this and having these kind of great conversations.
Well, thank you.
Thanks
Larry
for
and I
being
are
here.
just trying to help out as much as we can. So Anissa and Kevin, let's talk about what you're seeing. I know you guys have quite a few clients. What are you seeing out there from our world right now?
Well, first off, we're in Washington State. We're about 2.5 hours from literally ground zero, right?
Yeah.
Where everything started. So our state is pretty shut down. I know you guys being in California, it's about the same. We're getting a lot of emails and phone calls and text messages from people in the industry, and there's really two different types of questions that we're getting. The one is the person going, how do I get out there and do this? How do I take advantage of this? Or how do I, go out and get these jobs? And how do I, I don't want to say, not the word profit, but, how do I get involved in this so I don't miss out?
Sure.
And then there's, right. And then there's the ones that go, like, we're being cautious here. I think we're just going to stand back and hold on. What are your guys' thoughts? And they're just wanting to hear from Kevin and I as to what are our thoughts and feelings. And which is interesting to me. There's not really a middle of the road going on. There's usually one of those two camps, right?
Yeah.
And it's honestly a little bit alarming to me, some of the things that I'm seeing out there from not carpet cleaners, restoration people, that in some of the marketing and advertising and claims that are being made. It's kind of scary. And hopefully these people are actually trained and they know what they can and can't do and all of that process, and they're just using the wrong wording in their marketing. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, I think there's probably a little bit of both of that going on. I think there's some people that are trying to capitalize, and we would talk briefly before we started. I just saw an Instagram post where a carpet cleaner saying, get $400 worth of carpet cleaning and a free home coronavirus wipe down. And I'm sitting there going, doesn't work that way, man. So I think it's probably all over the map. But why don't we just talk briefly about who should be doing this kind of work and who shouldn't be doing this kind of work? Because I think that's pretty crucial.
Right. So I guess I would back up just a second and just say, hey, look, we all as a group, as an industry, as a continent, as a globe, we all got punched in the face and knocked on our butt just now. And there is no precedent for this. And so everybody's kind of reeling, and some people are, kind of swinging around out there, just taking swings in the dark on this. I think our best advice is stay in your lane. If this is not you, don't think you're going to jump in right now. It's too late. We're in the emergent event. And
so for those who don't know, what would you need to have to be in your lane? I mean, we know
you need training specifically biohazard training,
Yeah.
and you need to have protocols, and you need to have the right chemicals or solutions and the right personal protective equipment, and understand the processes of what you're
Yep.
dealing with. And to be straight up with you, and Anissa can elaborate a little bit on this, the FTC is watching this industry and others very closely right now over claims.
Yeah.
You cannot, at this point in time, tell people that you can get rid of the coronavirus.
So this is actually, I did a video, as I know we were talking about before this, we started recording yesterday. That's kind of gone out there quite a bit, because I decided that what I was seeing was not only terrifying, to be honest with you, in some regards, but it was also upsetting me, because if you are coming out here and you're not qualified, like Kevin said, you don't have biohazard training, and understand pathogens and proper PPE owning and doffing, and do you know how to do containment and understand when that's applicable, and negative air and all of this stuff. You need to understand and have had, in my opinion, some kind of hands-on training with this. And if you don't have proper certifications within our industry, like the IACRC or IRA, you're opening yourself up for some huge legal liability. And the FTC right now, because of what's going on with the virus and the fact that there's been all of these scams and they see all of this stuff going out there, they're watching big time. And there's been 7 companies within the United States, three of them very big, and in Canada, that have been sent warning letters. And the warning letters are, you have 48 hours to respond. Cease and desist, stop, take down whatever marketing, stop saying whatever you're saying, take it off of labels, like whatever this is you're doing, or you can not only be shut down, you can actually have criminal charges. Like it's a big thing. And, I get really passionate about this stuff.
No, we want the passion.
Yeah.
I do. And what got me, and I did that video yesterday, was, it's people not being prepared that jump out there and do this stuff that's going to hurt the rest of us that are prepared, are trained and certified, know what we're doing, and properly do things right. It's going to take our industry down as a whole. And that's why I stood up about that. And, there are things that the FTC says straight up. You cannot say preventative if you're going to also say coronavirus or COVID-19. You cannot say eliminate. You cannot say get rid of. Like if you go to the FTC's website, which I would recommend any of you watching this, if you're going to have anything to do with this kind of cleaning, go to the FTC's website. The FDA and FTC put together rules and regulations around this coronavirus and COVID-19. You need to be well aware of them and what they are.
Well, and it's such a new thing. I was just talking to a friend of mine who's a higher up at a large environmental testing company in California. And this conversation was about a week ago, so things could have changed. But he was like, we're getting called in to do all this testing. It's like, there is no test. He's like, there's a test now for people, but there's no surface test. So I can't do a post-test clearance on this. So it's the Wild West right now.
And so I think the position to come from is, again, if as an industry, this is our industry, we are dealing with biohazards and VOCs and all kinds of decontamination issues, sewer, dead body clean, all that stuff. That's what we do in our industry.
Yeah,
some of us, and those that know how to do that properly, can keep going and doing what they're doing. But if you're in the industry but you're not trained in that realm and that set of services, this is not the time. I mean, this is the time to learn, certainly, and maybe get training, because on the back end of this mess, there's going to be a need, and that's when right now I know that we've had conversations with other individuals in our industry that are ramping up to go and deal with large facility decontaminations soon, and it's in the millions. And so but you better know what you're doing, and you better know how to put that together from a legal standpoint.
And I think it would be good if we talk about that a little bit, guys, about let's say you are trained, you are certified, this is your lane, then I think it's a good idea to talk about how, again, obviously doing it according to FTC rules. We don't want to get anybody in trouble. So know what that is. But I think there's some really good strategies that companies have shared with us and that we've just kind of put together that I think are very big right now. When, again, this company we just talked to earlier today, I mean, they're talking about $1 million
Retainer.
possibly retainer to go out then and be on call to go do this work. So, but not all of us can maybe do that. So maybe right now, before the cleaning's starting, people are struggling and suffering, but now is when to put together the strategies. So I don't know, guys, what is this? March 20th, right? March 20th.
Spring.
So maybe in a week, maybe 20 days, maybe 45 days from now is when this work is going to start needing to be done. I don't know. I mean, obviously none of us, this is kind of fluid, right? But right now, if we establish ourselves as an expert and use these strategies, we will be the go-to person when the phone needs to start ringing.
And I think it's important to think in terms of, a lot of companies are tactical in strategy. They don't do strategy, they do tactics. Mm-hmm. And so tactics are what you do after the strategy is put in place. And so you need to back up a step.
Right. Start
thinking about your messaging, thinking about how you're going to educate your marketplace and what it is you want to provide. Because we have a lot of, things that are still emergent and ongoing in our industry. We're still dealing with floods and fires. We're second responders as an industry. So we're going to be out there in the field. And I think the fear factor is, reassuring our clients that we are protected and they are protected as we come in and do these remediations, and so that they will want to continue to do business with us. And so that's a positioning tool right there. And so right now, I don't know about you guys, but we are seeing the messaging in just dozens of industries changing and basically addressing the elephant in the room. And so I think it's important to do that, because again, one of the objections to getting business is dealing with those fears. And so we need to have the messaging in place to overcome those so that we can continue to do business with people.
So in specifics, what would you say to the company that really is capable of doing this work? They have the education, they have the trained staff, they have the equipment. What should they be doing as far as branding themselves as the expert logo? Like what preventative, measures could they take now to get that work 45 days out or whatever?
Well, education is key again. Yeah. So we're back to, letting them know what methods and what training you have, what equipment and procedures that you follow as a general rule. Because again, for us as an industry, this is us being a pig in mud. This is our thing. We do this, the forensic cleaners in our industry, the contaminant remediators in our industry. This is our daily thing. We have to stay protected. We have to stay in protocol. We have to be using those PPEs and so forth. So that's already what we're doing on a daily basis. We just need to make sure that the public understands that's how we operate.
So Kevin, how would you get that message out?
Well, I would just start putting out on social media, just having some conversations, as some of our clients already are doing, and saying, hey, this is what we do. We want to talk about the methods we use, the training we have, the equipment we have, the solutions that we use, the protocols that we already have in place, so that they can see this is our daily thing. We are the experts. So you got to create that positioning. And then I would even go a step further and start getting some of my clients to talk about us and how we performed when we've had to deal with their losses. And so they can say, yes, because again, we learned this a long time ago when we all got together and met each other. What's the adage? It's infinitely more believable what other people have to say about you than what you have to say about yourself. So we can talk all day, but I think it's a lot more believable if we get some of our clientele to say, yes, this is what they do.
And I want to add to that. So specifically, as you guys probably already know with me, I'm huge on video, huge on video. Video connects you with people.
It's powerful. You've made a big deal with it. It ran who you are, and it's just, you made it happen. who's Joe Polish with his little flip cam, and like, oh, piece of
Yeah.
cake.
It's thanks to Joe. I got my first, he gave us all a flip video. That's what I started with in 2008.
Yep.
And 12 years later, you know, majority of the people in this industry know Ask Anissa because of that. So, and people feel connected with me. Like Larry, you were just saying, somebody down in California was like, oh, you know, like, I have no idea who these people are, but they certainly
We
feel,
have a relationship with them. because of
yeah,
video.
connected with me. So
That's what video does.
video would be huge, and video on educating your client. And I don't just mean educating your client on what you do. Right now, we are in a, what I would term, for lack of a better word, a cesspool of information going on. Okay. Most of it that I have found, because I go straight to the sources, and I'm watching the CDC and the FDA, and I watch the president every morning when he comes out, and Dr. Burke, take my information straight from them. Most of what's being said on social media and other areas, which is where our clients are getting their information, is bad information. It's fear, it's not correct, and it's much worse than what the actual information is. So if you are a restoration company out there, cleaning company, that's in this lane and able to do this work, get on your Facebook, get on your YouTube. If you don't already have a YouTube, get one, start one. Now, this is the best time to do it. Do it on your website. Do short clip videos educating people on what is going on straight from your governor's mouth, which, by the way, the states also, I go to our website site for our Governor Inslee, because we are all having different things happening in our states. Right. So talk to them about, I mean, that's what I just did, you know, with the FTC in the industry. Give people education and say, this is what the FDA, EPA, whoever it is saying, this is how you clean hard surfaces. It seems to not have an effect and doesn't live long on cardboard and soft items. Very different. It's hard surfaces. So you can, the most powerful thing you could do in your home is clean these hard surfaces with what? Well, give them ideas. And don't be worried that people are going to clean their own facilities and their own homes and not call you. They will call you. The ones that were going to do it on their own will do it on their own, but you're going to be known as the expert that gave them the information that they needed, and it'll come around. It will come around. And if you start that now, in 45 days, 60 days, whatever that time frame is, what's going to happen? Oh, I've seen Eric and his company all over Facebook. I've heard, you know, I've seen Larry and his company all over YouTube. Right. Don't pitch. When you do these videos.
Just educate.
Exactly.
Educate.
Be sensible, be reasonable.
That's it.
Be the calm in the storm is really what it boils down to. And that's how we get our positioning as the experts, is being not the fear mongers, not the, you know, pitch monsters that are trying to get work because they're desperate. Right. And, you know, again, here in our industry, as well as others, there's going to be a market correction. This is going to push some people that are on the edge right on out. And that's the way it is. And that's going to happen across a lot of industries. But if you want to stay in, and if you want to, you know, big deal here is being relevant in your messaging, right, and calming in your messaging, and positioning as an expert and a source of education and, you know, really relief for people. Hope.
I want to say this too, guys. Sorry, this was a great thing that another restoration company actually came up with the idea, and I want to share with you. So they called their local news people. They called their local news people and arranged for an interview, not to pitch, not to sell, not to say, hey, we're certified, trained, here to help you, just to give out free tips and educational information, and making sure that people know the right places to go to get the correct information. Okay, so their company name's going to be on there. It's going to go out on their local television. Huge. Awesome. Not to mention, right? Not to mention they could take that, put it on their YouTube channel, their Facebook page, their Instagram, and then
leverage it.
Is there any local property management website that has an e-newsletter or wants content, or homeowners association that wants content? Can you approach them now and start a weekly e-column? Start a written column. It doesn't have to be, maybe they just want some content right now relevant and get shot out to their 60,000 people or something on their email list, because you're willing to provide information to help people through this time. And you will come out the other end being known as the person that served their community and were an expert. So
that was awesome. That was like a master class in how to guerrilla marketing. Boom. Right there. Drop the mic, Anissa.
Well, and I just I know I'm kind of like going on, and I get, like I said, real passionate about this, but it's because you guys, there is such an immense opportunity right now. I know it's scary. I get it. I know there are businesses right now that had to send employees home. They might only have a couple grand in their bank account, if that, and they don't know what's going to happen next. I get it. But there is such an opportunity here, you guys, for growth and prosperity, for the long game. And so just,
And this can happen, this can be a short and long game really easily. Again, it's about your messaging. It's about the positioning you're coming from, being that community leader. Again, we can be in reaction mode, or we can be in response or proactive mode.
Right.
And, way too many companies are not prepared for an emergent event like this, and so they're reacting, and that's not a good position to come from.
No, it's not. Well, guys, thank you so much.
Great content.
We could go on all day.
All day long. That was wonderful.
That was perfect. That's exactly what we were hoping people would hear, because you gave actionable items for people to go and do, opposed to just, hey, keep your chin up and hope for the best. I mean, that doesn't serve any of us.
Your brand is what people have to say about you after you walk out of the room, and that's relevant, that's real, that is actionable, and so the referrals could be a landslide.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate your time.
Cool. Thanks.
Absolutely.